Her work before I
That's right.
I just want to say she's
I was
very,
gonna
very
sit over
neat
here,
and
so I like to be near the
dedicated.
band.
You are. And here's Alex. It really needs no introduction.
Thank you, Jeff. I'd like to thank Jeffrey and Dorian and all the crew at ACA for holding these events and for having the courage to mount an exhibition on which, by reference, delves into areas of psychedelics. And it's an area that's taboo still in our society and is little understood. I think Peter's book, an explanation about Pablo's work, goes to where showing us that these visions that are initiated through the tea have a very important medicinal value. And it was always my feeling that the ayahuasca, I'm working on a portrait right now of Jeffrey Bronfman. He's the American leader of the União de Vegetal. Now that's one of the, it's the first legal ayahuasca church in the world. And that happened in Brazil. And some years ago, thank you, he imported it into the United States. Now that means that they're taking dimethyltryptamine, DMT, and it's a Schedule I substance. Of course, DMT, which is in the ayahuasca tea, is also in all of our nervous systems right now. We're on DMT. This is what you tune into at this level of DMT. It's kind of, we call it normal. It's the drip, you know, it gives you kind of the, yeah, okay, this is, yeah, within normal range. And so you shift that, you retune that, and you're tapping into another frequency, another dimension. And you start to understand the multi-dimensionality of the universe and of experience itself. And you start to see things. It unleashes the torrent of the infinite. And so you can react to that in fear, and it can become a panic-ridden hell realm. And it can catalyze people's psychosis, and it has. So, and people who are on the edge of a kind of a bipolar or borderline personality, you know, it's not indicated. You know, don't go there. You know, it's not a good thing. But for most stable people, you know, who understand and investigate a little bit more about psychedelics, it can be a window into your own spiritual life. It can be the opening that catalyzes a spiritual life. And for many people, it's been that way. Millions of people in the 60s had an experience over which they did not get. Why are we standing here today, you know? Why are you standing here today? A lot of us share something in common, which is that we're a visionary love tribe that is coming to the surface at special events. You know, where visionary culture congregates. And for us, this is the crystallization of a new vision of possibility for humanity, the possibility of a planetary civilization, of a sacralizing of nature. And this is why I've thought of ayahuasca, in a sense, as the second coming. I'm painting a portrait of the green Jesus in this portrait of Jeffrey Bronfman. I've got a green Mary and I've got a green Jesus. Because, you know, Christ and Mary, it's very convenient in a Catholic country to have Jesus and Mary on your side. And so the Santo Daime and the UDV, and very sincerely, do have those great healing forces on their side. And so the first coming, just thinking about this freewheeling imagination, the first coming was when we learned about the union of the unity of divinity and humanity. And the second coming, which I think is happening now in the ayahuasca churches, is that we're realizing the divinity of nature. And so instead of being alienated from our world, we're seeing the masterpiece that is threatened. And so at this time, it is important for Spirit to return and catalyze in us a sense of the sacred in terms of the web that supports our life. It's crucial. Everybody knows it. You know? So whatever can wake us up to that is important medicine for today, whether it's legal or illegal. And that's why we're standing here today. Because this is a, you know, a lot of great religions started as criminal religions, you know. And so that's the condition we're in right now. Now, one of the premier troublemakers in this entire thing was, this painting is titled Saint Albert and the LSD Revelation Revolution. Now, in 1938, as a research chemist at Sandoz Pharmaceuticals in Basel, Switzerland, Dr. Hoffman was looking for headache remedies and vasodilators and things like that, and playing with ergot. And so he made the 25th tartrate of this particular kind, LSD, and he injected it into animals and things, and nothing in particular happened. And so they shelved it. LSD was created and then shelved, 1938. Now, I say that it always helps to start a religion with a miracle. Yeah. And so, in 1943, Dr. Hoffman hears a voice. And he said never before and never since had he heard such a voice calling him. And it was LSD calling him to create it. And he did. Well, what happened was somehow he absorbed it, and then he thought, well, maybe this is fascinating. He had a couple of hours of a heightened imagination and thought, wow, I should investigate this. So on April 19th, on a Monday, he goes back to the lab and decides at 4:20. 1943, in the middle of the war. Okay, you know the Auschwitz is wafting psychically across Switzerland. You know, the whole area is clamped down. It's in the Nazi grip in 1943. And a month before, Fermi just discovers the reactions that will lead to the atomic bomb. Now, time is dark for humanity. So my theory goes that the alchemical angel that watches over things that are going on from the source is coming out and crying tears of compassion and saying, "Ooh, Albert, come and receive the so he does, and he takes it, and but he starts with millions of a gram, so that for sure nothing will happen. You know, you go sub-threshold and then you work your way up. So he went way sub-threshold, 250 micrograms. Hey, You know, but he hadn't known that he had discovered the world's most potent psychoactive substance, which was active very much at that level, and he had the first acid trip. So he thought he was dying. And he was really worried. And he wasn't at home with his family. So he thought he wanted to die at home, and he would get on his bicycle and ride home. So a lab assistant came with him, and I have the little bicycle right here that probably hardly any of you saw, but I painted it on LSD. And on January 1st, 2006. So January 11th was his 100th birthday. And we took the portrait to Basel, and he signed the back of it on his birthday. So this is a genuine relic that's been signed, a second-class relic, or third class or something, but it is authenticated by the doctor. And then, you know, in the wake of this, of course, the heart opens up. You've got all these various folks that have been affected by LSD. You've got psychedelic culture happening over here, and downwind of the ass of the demon are Nixon and you know, it's my painting. Started the war on drugs. Thank you very much. Let's see, who else should we talk about here? A few interesting standouts here. Steve Jobs looking on, saying, you know, that his LSD experiences were among the, you know, 5 most important things in his life, you know. You've got Reb Zalman Schachter Shalomi, who starts the Jewish renewal movement in the wake of his LSD experiences. You've got Francis Crick, who credits his discovery of the DNA double helix to LSD use. You've got Kary Mullis, the Nobel Prize-winning physicist and biomolecular scientist, who said that he discovered the PCR method, which he got his Nobel Prize for, because he could surf down molecules, you know, when he was tripping. And then we've got the Pittsburgh Pirates
Pitcher.
yeah. What? God.
Sandy
God.
Koufax?
Doc Ellis.
Doc Ellis, yeah. So he pitched a no-hitter in 1970 on acid. Now, that doesn't mean if you take acid you can pitch a no-hitter, but he was a great pitcher anyway. But he, you know, he decides in it was the 70s, you know, so he wakes up. He wasn't supposed to be pitching that day, okay? He was off. You know, and so he dropped some acid, and then they call him up. Oh, Doc, the other guy, you know, he's sick. You know, you gotta come. And okay. And he comes in there and he said he saw a comet tail come off of every ball, and it was amazing. It's recounted in his autobiography. Anyway, we got Ram Dass and Leary and Ralph Metzner and Aldous Huxley. A lot of the psychedelic crew are sort of surrounding him, you know. And so here, as a couple of the psychedelic family, you've got the Shulgins. And this is the Shulgins and their alchemical angels. By the way, as you could have figured out, this is the LSD molecule, basically, that he's holding. And so here, they're holding the molecule MDMA. And that's ecstasy. And it's not a chemical that this great chemist who invented over 250 other psychoactive substances, which are all surrounding here. It's not his particular invention. It was invented or patented in 1913, I believe, on Christmas Eve, by Merck. And so, but they never talked about its psychoactive nature. not until later, not until after Dr. Shulgin had started to synthesize it and stuff, and in the 60s, it started to make its reappearance. And then in the 80s and 70s, it came on really strong. So Anne Shulgin was a psychotherapist, and she would sometimes use these psychoactive compounds. And in this case, they talk about MDMA or ecstasy less as a visionary substance and more as one that opens the heart. And so that's why it's been so effective in the treatment of post-traumatic stress syndrome. And there have been a lot of great studies all over the United States and the world that have put this kind of soul medicine to use. So nevertheless, it's still a Schedule I substance. It was used in psychotherapy back, before it was made illegal. And so there are two awesome folks. They wrote two books together. PCOL, phenethylamines, I have known and loved. And tryptamines, I have known and loved. TCOL, PCOL and TCOL. And so that's our psychedelic heroes here. Now, what we're kind of proposing is that these compounds can, and any sincere meditator who achieves some kind of unitive or mystic state is going to see to the heart of reality where oneness is the truth. And it's an affirmation of oneness when the Holy Child points up and says that in all of the expressions of the divine, all of the fruit of the tree of wisdom that has come through humanity is an expression of the one. And so the